Hello students, hope you are having a joyful learning at the comfort of your home. Let us continue with the first chapter in biology, that is crop production and management. In the last class, we studied what are the different types of crops, why is agriculture important. Yes, now let us go to the next part that in this chapter, that is agricultural practices. Agricultural practices are nothing but there are certain steps that need to be followed to perform agriculture. That is, they have to be done in that particular sequence. So, which are those agriculture practices? Preparation of soil, sowing, adding manure and fertilizers, irrigation, protection from weeds, harvesting, and storage. These are the different steps that is being taken in agriculture. Let us see one by one. First, let us go with preparation of soil. Here, preparation of soil, what do you mean by preparation of soil? It's not that they prepare the soil. Soil will be present on the land, but it loses its fertility. What is fertility? It loses its energy, it loses all its nutrients, because previous to that there must be some crop which is there on the land which utilizes all that nutrients. So in order to replenish or put in more nutrients, the soil needs to be prepared. What does it involve? It involves plowing, leveling, and manuring. So one of the most important tasks in agriculture is to turn the soil and loosen it. Why you need to turn is, I told you, nutrient will be lost. So when you turn it, the lower level of soil comes on top and the top layer will go down. And then when they are doing this plowing, what happens is the soil becomes loose, which will help the roots to penetrate deep into soil and also allows the roots to breathe easily, because even the plants require air to breathe. So the plowing helps the soil to become loose and also helps the roots to breathe. The loosened soils help in the growth of earthworms and microbes present in the soil. These earthworms and microbes, what they do is, they also provide aeration. Aeration is nothing but for the air to pass through the soil, they provide passage. So these earthworms grow well when the soil is loose. That's why they are called as farmers' friends. So if you have learnt in the previous classes, soil contains minerals, water, air and other living organisms, and also it contains dead plants and animals. Since only a few centimeters of top layer of soil supports plant growth, turning and loosening of soil brings the nutrient rich soil to the top. So only the top layer will be there. If you plow it, even the down layer which are fertile will come to the surface. Thus, turning and loosening of soil is very important. So this ploughing, how do they do this ploughing? This the instrument with which they do ploughing is called as a plough. If you can see in the picture at the alongside, you can see there is a wooden which is dragged by the animals, and sharp iron substance will be in the soil. As the animals move, the plough also moves along with it and it goes on digging. So this is how ploughing is done. Then leveling. Why we need to level the soil? Now if the soil is not leveled, means if it is not at the same level, there may be lumps. Lumps is like a bundle of soil. If you sow your seeds into that, the nutrients will not spread easily and the plant will not be able to grow. And then when you put water, it will not spread evenly. It will stay at one point, which may harm the plant. So leveling of the soil is also very important. It helps in protection of soil from erosion also. What is erosion? Is moving away of topsoil due to wind or water. Advantages are, it helps in protection of soil from erosion, promotes irrigation. That's what I told you. Irrigation needs to happen properly. That is, watering should happen properly. The next step is manuring. Manuring is nothing but mixing the manure with soil. How do they mix? We'll study what are manures in the later part. It helps to increase the fertility. Fertility means more number of nutrients. After you prepare the soil, what you have to do is you have to sow your seeds. Now before sowing the seeds, you need to be sure that you are sowing the right kind of seeds. How do you know what are the right kinds of seeds? So what characters it should have? It is, seeds are selected on basis of high yielding variety. What is yield? Now you sow one seed, it has to grow into a plant and give you, like if you sow a chili plant, when it grows into a plant, it needs to give you many chilies. So that is a yield. So high yielding variety should be chosen. Seeds should not be dormant. Dormant in the sense, sometimes if the seeds are heated too much, they will not germinate. Germination, if you have studied in previous classes. Now also when you eat sprouts, the white thing that comes out from the seeds is nothing but the first step of germination. Then the seed should be sown at the right depth. Right depth in the sense, when you dig the soil, you should not dig it too much or you should not dig it too less. Because if you dig it too much, what will happen? The seed will go deep into the soil and it will not get the right amount of sunlight or the moisture, and the pressure of the soil will be more. And what will happen if you don't dig to a certain depth? It might go away with the wind. So the right depth is very important. There should be a proper distance maintained between each seed. This is also very important. If there is no proper distance, what will happen? All the seeds will grow. If you put it at one place, they'll grow there itself, and then they'll combine with each other and they will not be able to receive the proper amount of water and also the nutrients. Seeds should be free from diseases. The seed should not be having any diseases. Now, how do you get these seeds? Once you sow it, the plant becomes big, then you get the seeds. So, when you have got the seeds, you should check that the seeds are not having any diseases. So, how is this sowing done? It is done by few methods. That is, one of the method is broadcasting, in which a farmer takes the seeds in his hands and just throws it randomly or scatters it randomly on the field. What happens with this field? What happens with this method is, the seeds will not get the proper distance between each of them. There will be no proper sowing at a particular depth, what we discussed earlier. So those criteria will not be met. Then therefore the yield will not be good. The next method is seed drill. You can see a picture at the alongside. That is a seed drill. Here what the farmer does is, he puts the seeds into that main funnel what is there on top, and then the pipes are at an equal distance, which will go on putting the seeds at a equal distance or far away from each other. The next method is transplantation. Here transplantation is, you don't sow the seeds at one place, you sow it in a nursery or you sow it at one particular place, and after a seed grows to a certain length of around, it depends for different plants, maybe 4 to 5 inches, then the sapling is plucked from there and then it's put into the soil. You can see it in the previous so this method, what you can see here, that is nothing but transplantation. So this was about sowing. After sowing, now you have made the soil ready, you have put the seed, now you need to give it food, right, so that it grows. That's why you have to add manures and fertilizers. So in the first step, that is preparation of soil, I told you manuring, that is you have to mix the manure. What is this manure? The organic substance obtained by the decomposition of plants and animal waste. So this is this natural nutrient for the plant, because here you don't use any chemicals, you use just the spoiling of food, that is your plants and animals waste what is there. So if you know, cow dung is also used as a manure. So you are not going to put any chemical. those whatever nutrients are present in these things only will act as nutrient for the plant. So how does this manure, how you can get this manure? You can make a compost. What is meaning by compost is you have to dump all the unwanted in suppose in house, if you want to make a compost, you have to put your wet waste, that is vegetable waste or from your kitchen waste, and then you have to put in some dry waste, that is dry leaves, okay, and then leave it for some time. After some time what will happen is it will turn into manure, that is composting. Then green manure, it consists of decomposed leguminous plants like groundnut. Groundnut also has a bacteria growing into it. When it is into the plant stage, in the roots there will be a bacteria. What it does is it will take the nitrogen from the air and fix it into the soil. So in this process the plant will get the nitrogen. Nitrogen is very essential for the growth of plants. Therefore green manure is consists of decomposed leguminous plants like groundnut. So what are the advantages of manure? It adds nutrient to soil. It adds humus. Humus is again nothing but rotting or decomposing of leaves and plant material or even animal material, dead plant and animal material. It improves the quality of soil. It improves the quality means if the quality of soil is good, you will get a good yield, you will get a good crop. What are these fertilizers? As I told you, manure is nothing related to any chemicals, but fertilizers are made in factories. Okay, so like for example NPK, it is nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Other fertilizers are ammonium sulfate, ammonium phosphate, etc. So these are usually made in factories, and the farmers buy it and put it to the soil. What is the difference between manure and fertilizer? I told you manure is organic, fertilizer is inorganic. You can go through the difference here. I have already discussed it earlier. Yet if you want a detailed idea about it, you can go through the difference in this chart. The next step in agriculture is irrigation. Now what have you done? What all steps have you taken? You prepared the soil, yes. Then you sowed the seed. Then you gave it food. Now you have to give it water. Like how you drink water after eating your food, same thing, even the plants require water. Irrigation is nothing but supplying of water to plants at regular intervals, and it varies. Now you have to put water, it doesn't mean you have to go on putting water. Each plant will be having its own taste or its own kind of requirement. You have to water it only that much. So where you will get this water? You might get it from pond, lake, borewell. Even rain is a major source of water for irrigation. Then uses. It is helpful in translocation of food. Now food is prepared in plants where? In the leaves. And water is taken from where? Roots. So when these two mix up, the transportation of food from leaves to other parts will be easier. Then what does water do again? It protects the crop from frost and hot climate. It keeps the plant cool. Same thing what it does in our body. It keeps our body cool. Same thing the water does in the plant body. So what are its disadvantages? I told you, you cannot water the plant excess. You cannot water the plant less also. So due to excess irrigation, seeds cannot respire. Now if there is always water present, what happens? The soil will be blocked and air will not be able to pass. They cannot breathe. Due to excess irrigation, roots do not grow well. They might start rotting inside the soil. So they may not grow well. So this is about irrigation. How do we do this irrigation? Traditional methods in the sense, previously, nowadays most of these methods will not be used, but at some points they are used. So these methods are moat, dekli. In this, either you get from the well and it's been put to the plant. A detailed video of how this is done is I have attached it at the end. You can go through the video later. Another traditional method is Rahat and chain pump. These are a little much more modernized method than the previous methods. Here you have an animal or even sometimes even human beings move around and draw the water from a water source and supply it to the plants. The modern methods of irrigation, that is the sprinkler. In this method, water is distributed through a system of perpendicular pipes, usually by pumping. You must have seen in some gardens, like a shower, water will be coming out. Here, what is the advantage of this is there will be no wastage of water. So when the water goes through these pipes, it provides efficient coverage to small and large area and is suitable for use on all types of soil. This is similar to rainfall. There will be no much force and the water will not stand. It will keep on moving, so there will be no much stagnant water. The next system of irrigation is drip system. This is also a very efficient system wherein water is directly supplied to the plant directly or to its root directly and just drop by drop, not in a force or not in too much quantity. So the just drop by drop supply of water will be there. And what happens to these due to these modern methods of irrigation? There will be no much wastage of water. It also saves time and labor, as nowadays you don't find people who will be watering the plants. So you don't have to search for people. Once the pipeline has been set, the watering will happen on its own. So here is the link which you can watch for the traditional methods of irrigation. We will continue in the next class.